Welcome back. This is unit, well, OCR, OCR F581 Economics, June 2013 paper. Now, we talked about firstly this on the board here. I'm just going down to the second question. Sorry. Queue up. Go on. Okay. All right. So what we talked about there was we gave an overview of the kind of the kind of things that the overview of the case study basically. What we're doing now is going to talk about the. It says, using the information in the case study, explain 2 reasons for the decrease in supply of flights. Now we got to cast our minds back to the supply video for F581, if it's up here. What we talked, I'm not sure. I don't think it will be. But anyway, basically, the suppliers, what shifts the supply curve is expectation of future rents, taxes, regulation, weather, time, just to name a few. So it says using information from the case study. So 2 straight away jumped out at me there. I wrote down when I talked about the taxes and regulation. So taxes and regulation, yeah. So I'll do regulation over here and taxes. Now unfortunately I'm going to have to rub, just sort of make notes around each one of these. I'm going to have to rub them off obviously at the end because when we get to question 2b it's going to ask me something else. So green, so I'll start with taxes actually. So basically we use green taxes, where was it, tells us taxes there, it talks about green taxes, and we went over that in question 1, so it talks about green taxes. Green taxes increase, to talk about yeah. So if green taxes are given to the firm and the so they're domestic and foreign holidays, so if the green taxes to maintain profit margins, so to maintain, sorry, it's okay, maintain profit margins, to maintain profit margins, costs are passed on to the consumer in the form of a higher price. Are passed onto the consumer in the form of a higher price. So that's passed on to the consumer as increased prices. So that's why we see, we're told in the case study, the prices increased, and that's one of the reasons for it. So we know that impacts on the firm's contraction in demand, as obviously air travel is deemed to be a luxury good as it's price elastic in demand, so a small increase in price should lead to a larger reduction in demand, and in response airlines will reduce their supply. Passed on to the consumer, so supply decreases, so a decrease in supply, and obviously that's why that taxes. So green taxes to maintain prices, costs passed on to the consumer, and as demand decreases, supply decreases. Yeah, so the company's profit margins, so they pass on the cost because they want to sort of maintain profit margins, but they can't pass on all of it obviously. So that impact on the cost of production and their price. That's why their prices increase. So overall taxes, to sum it up, green taxes increase a firm's cost of production, so they can't produce as much as some firms that can't produce in the market, so supply decreases. That's basically what it means. The other one we talked about was regulation, well I mentioned anyway. So basically, this is the amount, I'll write it down actually, it's the amount they can physically supply. So if there's increased regulation, number of flights supplied decreases. So that's number of flights supplied decreases. So as there is, So if there is if they can't supply as many, but there's still a demand for them. So as there's excess demand, get rid of that excess demand. So if the number of supply decreases, it sort of changes the price, and prices increase. What going on about that? Right. So basically, regulation. Sorry about that. Increases sort of the tightness, the control, how many can be supplied. If the number of flights supplied decreases, that means obviously supply will decrease. There's not much more to it than that. So supply decreases. That's the end of question 2A. So basically, taxes, they increase the cost of firms' cost of production, so some firms can't supply profitably in the market, so supply decreases. Regulation, if there's an increase in regulation, firms can't supply as many flights, not because they don't want to, they physically can't because of the law, so the supply decreases. That's all I waffled on there in my exam. That's why I was getting a bit confused, because I'm going off my notes for an old exam paper that I did a while ago, and I was talking a load of rubbish. Good job I spotted that. What it says in the mark scheme, just get it up. Basically says what I just said there. Just about sorry. Yeah, it just just says about the tax and regulation, and about the regulation limiting the number of suppliers, checking, and the taxes increase the firm's cost of production. I mean, it's only worth is it worth 4? Oh, worth 6. Worth 6 marks, so 86 marks for saying that. 2B, just let me check if I missed anything out. No. It says, using a demand and supply diagram, comment on the extent to which changes in demand and supply of holidays mentioned in the case study have affected the market equilibrium for holidays. Now, the first thing we know is that obviously the supply has been decreased because of the taxes, and at a high price have reduced the disposable income, which, so demand is shifted by income, population size, taxes, legislation, and so demand is shifted by population size, fashion, tastes, and we'll go with taste because UK holidays seem more appealing, and incomes because people have sort of had a reduced income. So we know demand definitely shifts leftwards, so I'll explain that, because the fashion changes to UK holidays, that's the main reason for it. And obviously supplies change because of the equilibrium and the regulation, so supply is shifted to the left and also demand has. So we've got our D1 and D, so demand definitely shifts leftwards, and this is your quantity demanded and supplied, this is your price. Original equilibrium is where supply equals demand, so that's E, corresponds with the price P. Remember, it's lowercase and lowercase q. Where D1 and S1 intersect, that's where the new price level is. P1, lower price, and lower demand Q1. So that's what it's all about. So this is quantity demanded and supplied. Don't get that mixed up with F582. I just put D and S, quantity demand, that's because there's demand curve here and supply curve here. We said the supply curve shifts because of the increase in regulation and taxes, and obviously the increased prices cause the consumers, tastes have caused the demand curve to shift. So it's worth, I think it's, how many marks is it? Sorry, just let me go up, come on computers. 6 marks. 5 holidays moving to. So you need to relate it to the case study. So I'll just draw like a little points here as we go along. Says you need to supply. So white shifts. So state shifts. Sorry. So basically this is the same as for F582, except you don't go waffling on talking about multiplier effect and policies and conflicting objectives. All you do is simply state the shift, so state shift. I'm just going to write these as sort of key bullet points to make sure you've got your answer right. Go through the answer and we'll sort of do it together. So you state shift, why it's shifted. So you both do this for both demand and supply, because there's two shifts there. As we know, because of the supply curve shifted because of regulation, demand curve shifted because of the change in taste or fashion. So you state them two shifts, and then you say the overall effect is dependent on the magnitude. Yeah, so you state shifts. So you state shifts, you state why it's shifted, and sorry, I'm just trying to get the lighting correct in the room. Does that work at all? So basically, you state why it shifts, you state what it shifts to. That's a bit better, isn't it? You state why it's shifted. You state the shift, you state why it shifted, impact on price, and QD. And now by QD I mean quantity demanded. And then obviously, so you talk about a shift, why it shifts, impact on what it's demanded, and magnitude. So, go over that then, using these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, even 4 points. Going to explain the diagram as you would do if you answer the question, so let's crack on. So, you state, first thing you do is you state the shift. So you say that I don't know if you can see it on there. Right, move the camera a little bit. So move it over there a little bit. There you go. Right, so you've got your curve there. You state why it shift. You state the shift. You state why it shifted. Impact on price and quantity demanded, and the magnitude. So supply curve is shifted. We say from S to S1. This is because of the change in the regulation tightening. Demand curve is shifted from D to D1, possibly because of the fashion, and this has changed people's opinion from foreign holidays to so this is for foreign holidays. That's why demand's decreased, because fashion's changed to other holidays as substitutes available, and this has resulted in a decrease in price and a decrease in quantity demanded on supply. And you state from P to P1, from Q to Q1, and magnitude. It says, you say the shift, the total impact on price and quantity demanded is dependent on the tightening of the regulation and the changing in fashion, which affects the supply curve and the demand curve, which would impact on the price and quantity demanded and supplied. So that's 2B. That's your 4 bullet points. You get 2 marks or so for drawing the diagram, and the rest is obviously for the getting the points correct. So that's 2B. 2 question 2. So in a nutshell, question 2, the first one we talked about was so the 2 reasons for the decrease in price supply, which we just talked about, the regulation and the taxes, increasing the cost of production, stopping people supplying more. And then we talked about the diagram, which you state the shift, you state why it's shifted, you state the impact on price, the impact on quantity demanded, and then you state the magnitude, so the overall effect. So it's kind of like F582, just it's obvious you don't talk about policies because you're talking about a microeconomy even. So that's the overall thing of F581 for this question 2 of June 2013 F581 OCR paper. We'll see you in the next video. This should be question 3, and we'll see you soon.